Gut reaction, biggest challenge you may face. Maybe it's a day-to-day challenge, could be a week-to-week. We're talking about the radio piece exclusively.
The biggest challenge on the radio. For me, having a show with a co-host every single day, it is no different than any relationship that you have. You have buddies, you have friends, you have disagreements, you're pulling in different directions. And for us, there's no doubt about it. It's just finding some of that middle ground where, at times it's adversarial and we have a strong opinion and difference of opinion, but making sure that that is still entertaining for people.
That makes for good radio.
It can make for good radio, but it can also be a turnoff if it's too much. So just finding that middle ground and building that rapport in that relationship. No different from a quarterback with a receiver. You build a timing, a sense of chemistry, a sense of camaraderie, and those are critical elements in this business.
Let's flip that around. Obviously, the biggest reward. You come in every day, you're excited, I'm going to assume, because you're here. What's the reward, the biggest reward that you get?
Oh, that's an easy one. That's when we leave here and you see people at the Mariners games. I just really enjoy your show. Or, you get some texts or emails once in a while, and you run into people that find, that A, it's humorous or entertaining or insightful, or they learn a little bit. And yeah, we're just really sharing our experience with people for 4 hours. So it's definitely a relational, that's where the positives comes, building those relationships.
Was there any one person that mentored you? I'm not looking for the name, but more importantly, maybe there was a message as you were transitioning from your athlete profession into where you are now. Was there anyone that just gave you some advice that obviously has really stuck with you that you in turn would be able to share with someone?
I think there's a couple pieces of advice, and that is the obvious, and you hear this all the time. You can't be a phony or fraud in this business. You simply can't. That will come through every single time, maybe not in the first show or the 6th show or the 50th show, but if you truly are not yourself and you are trying to put on a face, that you're going to get caught and it's not going to work. So I think that's a natural. And then there were a number of people just saying, listen, you've got to pay your dues. The NFL is a goofy business because you get drafted, you get the money and the attention and everything's thrown at you right out of school. It's really the reverse of the real world. The real world is you finish your job and you start low and you slowly build your way up and you build relationships and trust and networks and experience. Football was a very different field. So yeah, I think a number of people to remind me that this doesn't happen immediately. This doesn't happen overnight. This radio show didn't just happen year one out of school. This was 2 years of doing a lot of local work for really nothing. And unfortunately got a break nationally at ESPN and just kept working and working and working and knocking on doors and not accepting no. So the best advice, be a squeaky wheel, just don't be annoying.
As we wrap up, just had a last question I just thought of. We don't want to dismiss people that really are going through the broadcast journalism programs. I know there's many of them throughout the states, and that's obviously important if you're going to do this. But perhaps if you say this nicely, throw away the books for a minute. Maybe there's some just intangible qualities that you think are really, you can shortlist it to 2 or 3. What would those be?
Undoubtedly, and I'll say this is, I can't really even say it in a different way, it is your work ethic. It is how committed are you going to be to it, truly. I mean, how devoted and how hard are you going to work at it. Secondly, I think this is a people business. You have to be able to relate, whether you're a board op, whether you're just an information digger-upper researcher, whether you're an on-air talent, whatever field, you better be a people person and be able to relate to different people. Because if you don't, this is not the industry for you. So I think those are pretty simple and concrete and certainly not earth-shattering.
Right.
But those two, I think, go a long way to leading the success in this industry.
Because you came from it from a different angle. You didn't go through that traditional broadcast program, let's say Syracuse, for an example.
Sure.
You're coming through it from a different channel, so I think I appreciate the insight.
But along these lines, when I met a number of those folks, and next week I'll go back out to ESPN, and there are a number of the people trained in that way at Syracuse and a lot of the anchors, and yet you find almost without a doubt, those two, that if you're not willing to work, those people at ESPN, those anchors and the folk work relentlessly. That place is open 20 hours a day. I think from 1 to 5 in the morning is the only time it's slowed down. It's not even that. I think it's 2 to 5 in the morning. And outside of that, if you were to go there and look at the people bustling around, the work ethic is incredible. And the people there is that people skill, that relationship, and be able to relate to people. You don't have either of those qualities, you're going to have a hard time climbing the ladder.
Appreciate the time. I know you don't need to promote yourself here locally. People know how to find you here, but for my viewers that perhaps are in different parts of the country and they want to just either catch you streaming live, where would you direct someone so we can give the website, people can listen to you on air, and maybe ahead of time when you're going to be on TV doing some ESPN work. Anything you can, let's do a little plug.
If you're in the Seattle area, it's 710 on the AM dial or 710 ESPN 11 to 3. And then online, we stream at mynorthwest.com. We got our blog there. And this industry is also changing in that way. And I think very positive for a lot of you out there that if you're not just the most affable, sociable person, and you're an IT person, you're an information person, you're a tech person, you see this industry changing, both on the TV and radio side. It's now multi-platform, everywhere. So I think there's, even for the IT folks out there, plenty of avenues. So mynorthwest.com is the website where you'll find all the information. Brock Heward, 710 ESPN Seattle and ESPN and others. I appreciate you taking the time right here in Voice of the Box. You got it.